Okay. Very good. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat 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 shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. We enter this sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wanderings, it has endured. A beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we in turn come into this sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door in the brightness of Shabbat. Let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. And can you turn the volume down just a little bit? I'm getting a lot of echo here. Thank you. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And thank you for being here. Thanks for everybody who's in the congregation and everybody out there in YouTube land. And you know, the people here tonight are kind of shifted far to the left, and I'm thinking the building's going to start to settle on that side. So I'm just going to speak to this aisle where no one's sitting, but I'm really glad you're all here. I'm standing in for Rich Carsel, who's stuck in traffic on the Cuesta grade. And so I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not super prepared tonight. I don't have a Devar Torah ready, and I'm just hoping that Rich rolls in the door before we get there. If not, we're just going to roll right past it, okay? So everybody be patient with us, and we will get there. Okay, so we don't have any piano tonight, so you guys are going to have to live with me, and I'll try to get these prayers started in a key that everybody can sing in. So everybody, let's go. Let's turn to page 10, and let's do Hine Matov. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. How good and how pleasant it is that brothers and sisters dwell together. Excuse me. Let's turn back to page 2 in your prayer book. And let us light the Shabbat candles. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat. And I am missing the Kiddush cup, so I'm just going to pretend like I have the Kiddush cup in my hand, unless it is it poured back there?
It's poured.
Okay, great. It's okay. Doesn't have to be a lot of wine. In the meantime, if I was really good, I'd tell you a joke, but I don't know any jokes. I'm a terrible comedian. But here comes the Leslie. Good for you. Come on up. Come on up. It's a good thing we have a very forgiving congregation. That's all I can say. Thank you so much, Leslie. I appreciate it. Okay.
Good thing we have a building and maintenance man that can double.
Okay. Please join me in the blessing over the wine. And please stand if you are able, okay? Please stand if you're able, everyone, okay? Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadsho, b'ahava uvratzon, hinchilanu, zicharon lemahaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila, lamikrahe kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim, kivanu v'charta, ve'otanu kidashtam, mikol hamim, v'shabbat kadshecha, b'ahava uvratzon, hincholtanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mikadesh hashabbat. Amen. L'chaim. Please be seated. Okay. Please join me on page 7 as we read together, Where Has This Week Vanished? Please join me, okay? Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide. Okay, everybody's on page 7? Okay, read along with me. Middle of the page. Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time, contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide. Let's turn to page 12 and join me for Lechu Naranana. Okay. Lechu Naranana, Lechu Naranana, Lechu Narana Ladonai. Lechu Naranana, Lechu Naranana, Lechu Narana Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Litzur Vishenu, Nikadma Fanav Bitodam. Naria, Naria, Litzur Yishenu, Bizmirot Naria Lo. Lechu Naranana, Lechu Naranana, Lechu Narana Ladonai. Lechu Naranana, Lechu Naranana, Lechu Narana Ladonai. And please join me at the bottom of the page 12 in English. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai. Raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. For Adonai is a great God, the great ruler of all divine beings. Let's now turn to page 20 and join me for Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. 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 Shamor v'zakor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el ham yuchad, Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, L'shem ultiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, Ki mechor habracha mehirosh michadem, En sucha sof maseh b'machshava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Boi v'shalom ataret bala, Gam simcha uv'sochola, Toch emuneam segula. Boi chala, Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, Panei Shabbat nekabala. Please be seated. Okay, it's at this point that I typically read a poem. Let me see if I can find it. Hope I can find it. It's in here somewhere, so bear with me, folks. You're not going anywhere. Good. Well, I don't have it, so we're just going to move on. Like I said, I'm standing in tonight, so I'm doing the best I can. Okay, let's turn to page 24, and let's welcome the angels of Shabbat as we sing Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. And please join me at the bottom of page 24, and let's read the English. Peace be to you, O ministering angels, messengers of the Most High, Majesty of majesty, Holy One of blessing. Enter in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Bless me with peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. Depart in peace, O messengers of peace, angels of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, Holy One of blessing. And let's turn to page 26, and rather than chant the Chatzi Kaddish, let's just read it in Hebrew, okay? Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divra kirute, v'yamlich malkute, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dekol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvzizman kariv v'yamru, amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarech, le'alam ul'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitbar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal, shemei dekudesha b'richu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, damiran v'alma v'yamru, amen. And together in English at the bottom of page 26. Exalted and hallowed be God's great name in the world which God created according to plan. May God's majesty be revealed in the days of our lifetime and the life of all Israel. Speedily, imminently, to which we say, Amen. Blessed be God's great name to all eternity. Blessed, praised, honored, exalted, extolled, glorified, adored, and lauded be the name of the Holy Blessed One, beyond all earthly words and songs of blessing, praise, and comfort, to which we say, Amen. Okay, and then let's just jump to page 147. I've got a slightly different outline, but it's going to get us to the same place. Let's turn to page 147, and let's read the Ma'ariv Aravim. And, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm out of order. It's time for the Baruch Hu. Turn to page 146 and join me for the Baruch Hu. Please rise if you're able. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. And you may be seated. Okay, now let's just go to the next page and let's say the, is that it? Yeah, the Ma'ariv Aravim. Let's read it in English and let's read responsibly. I'll do the first and the third verse and you folks do the second verse and speak out, okay? Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you and endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Okay. And let's turn to the next page, 148, and go to the middle of the page, and please read in English with me. In each age, we receive and transmit Torah. At each moment, we are addressed by the world. In each age, we are challenged by our ancient teaching. At each moment, we stand face to face with truth. In each age, we add our wisdom to that which has gone before. At each moment, the knowing heart is filled with wonder. In each age, the children of Torah become its builders and seek to set the world on a firm foundation of truth. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Okay, and we're going to do the Shema next. And I kind of like to do it in a way that's not often done. So if you'll just kind of go with me on this, and you'll pick up the tune pretty quickly. I'm sure you've heard it before, but I really like the Shema because it's really, I think, meant to be a meditation, and I feel that way about it. So please join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Vahed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Vahed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Okay, let's turn to page 150 and join me for the Ve'ahavta in Hebrew. And here again, I'm not going to chant it, just going to say it in Hebrew. Okay? Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ela asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha. Vishinantam livanecha v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'vetecha, uv'lechtecha v'aderech, uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha, ukshartam la'ot al yadecha, v'hayu latotafot bein einecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvi sharecha. Lama'an tizkaru v'atzitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kiddoshim le'lochechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz, Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. And then together in English at the bottom of the page. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus shall you remember to observe all my commandments and be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Okay, and then let's turn to page 154, and if you are able, please rise and let's sing Vishamru. That's page 154. Please rise if you're able. Okay. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahazot et ha-Shabbat lidoritam barit olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahazot et ha-Shabbat lidoritam barit olam. B'nei Uvein, B'nei Yisrael, Ohit le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahazot et ha-Shabbat lidoritam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamin asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'oretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahazot et ha-Shabbat lidoritam barit olam. Uva yom hashvi'i shavat v'yanafash, shavat v'yanafash, shavat v'yanafash, v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lahazot et ha-Shabbat lidoritam barit olam. Excellent. You may be seated. Good work. Actually, excuse me, you can't be seated because we're about to do the tefillah. So everybody back up, please, if you're able to stand. Please join me on page 155 for the tefillah. And of course, this is the heart and soul of the Friday night service. This is where we begin our quiet meditation. And we say either the prayers that are written, or you can just say the prayers that are in your own heart. After we say the tefillah, please remain standing until such time as you're through with your meditations. And when everyone is seated, we will do Oseh Shalom on page 167. Okay? Adonai sifatai tiftak ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Okay, please join me at the bottom of page 167 for Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bin Romav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. And here, to save the day, is none other than the inimitable, world-famous Rich Carsel, who's going to give us our drosh and finish the service.
Is that where we are?
That's where we are. Thank you for making it.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I apologize. This has been an amazing week. My mother-in-law, when she turned 80, I asked her how she felt, and she said she felt like she was 17, but it took her an hour to put her parts on. You know. And I bought a new motorcycle, 3 wheels, and you have to put a helmet on. When I did that, it ripped my hearing aids, destroyed them, completely destroyed them. So I found Jan's hearing aids, which are just sitting there. She's not using them. And I took them to Costco, and they can fix them. And they were supposed to be ready today, but they're not. So I can't hear a single thing that I'm saying. You know. And it's been a week. So it's good to be here with you for Shabbat. Yeah. So we're at the sermon. Okay. There's an old story, and perhaps some of you know it. It's about the new rabbi in the synagogue, and the president comes to him one day and he says, you know, your sermons are okay, but some of the congregants have some problems with them. And the rabbi said, what's the problem? And the president said, well, you just talk about Shabbat and kashrut and the high holy days, and the congregants are sick of it. And the rabbi says, well, what do you want me to talk about? And the president says, talk about something Jewish. See? So I'm going to take that advice. The Torah portion for this week is Ki Tzavo. It's found in Deuteronomy 26:1 through 29:8. And it really is the story of getting ready to go into the Promised Land. We only have 1 or 2 more Torah portions before the end of the Torah, and this is about it. So what's happening here is that the Israelites are gathering up their fruit for a birkumen offering, for a fruit offering to God. And it concludes the portion with this ritual offering of the fruit of the land, and it's really a thanksgiving to God for leading them through the desert, the whole miserable 40 years, and now getting ready to go into the Promised Land. It continues with a list of the blessings which the Israelites will receive if they study the Torah and follow the Torah. And then it warns them that if you don't follow the Torah, there's a list of curses that's twice as long as the blessings. This is bad things are going to happen to you. Well, as I studied this parsha, my mind went in several different directions. There are all kinds of ways to go from this. And I considered the story of the Exodus, the miserable journey through the desert, the whole 40-year ordeal. This is a footnote. If it was anything like living with my first life, it was just abject misery. And I thought about how grateful the Israelites must have been. You knew my ex-wife. Okay. I thought about how grateful the Israelites must have been as they were getting ready to enter the promised land, and it ended the long slog through the desert. And then I understood their desire to give thanks to God in a way that they could, and that was by giving the fruit offerings. And then I thought about the ancient rituals and how they gave way to prayers through the years after the temple was destroyed. And then the prayers became hymns. We put the prayers to music. And I thought about how prayers came to be. Who were their authors and why were they written? What were the circumstances that led to a particular prayer being written? And the more I thought about it, the more curious I became. Who wrote that prayer and why did they write it? There were two hymns that just jumped out at me that I really wanted to think about. The first one was Adon Olam, and the second one was a Protestant hymn, It Is Well With My Soul. It's also known as When Peace Like a River. Adon Olam is a very important prayer. It concludes Shabbat services, and it's part of the ritual of the morning prayer. It's a poetic and a spiritual masterpiece, and it's hiding in plain sight. Okay, we sing it so often that we've forgotten its meaning. I can't remember the last time I read Adon Olam in English until preparing for tonight. It's a shame because its words convey nothing less than a complete framework for our relationship with God. And so let's take a look at it. It's in our Siddur at page 321. It's worth our time, I think. $321. I think it would be best if you just read it to yourselves and pay particular attention to the very last verse. Let's read the last verse together. Into your hands I entrust my spirit when I sleep and when I wake, and with my spirit my body also. Adonai is with me, and I shall not fear. There are, as we all know, there are so many versions to Adon Olam. The syntax lends itself to being sung to any tune. I remember as a 12-year-old singing it to She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain. You know, there's just no end to what you can do with Adon Olam. And I looked at YouTube, which I commend to you. Type in YouTube Adon Olam, and you're going to get 100 different versions, and some of them are really, really good. I listened to the Cantor's Chorus of the IDF, okay, the Children's Choir of Jerusalem, countless cantors, all of whom had different versions. And it's really a beautiful, beautiful song. The one that got me, the one I really liked, was sung by cantor Danny, I might say his name wrong, Mutlu, and he's now of the Central Synagogue in Manhattan, a Reformed temple. That spoke to me, and that's the version that I'd like to do tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'll sing the first verse, and then we'll all sing it, and then we won't sing it anymore until we get to the end of the service. Okay? It goes like this. I forgot. I've heard so many versions. Can't do it. Think of me as a student rabbi. Ah. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'teren Kol Yasin Nivrach Leis Naso Behepsa Kol Azah Melech Shamo Nikra Adon Olam Asher Malach B'teren Kol Yasin Nivrach Leis Naso Behepsa Kol Azah Melech Shamo Nikra. There's a second hymn that is really worthy of our attention, and it is a Protestant hymn, but my thinking is the Catholics and the Protestants, they took everything good from us, and when I see a really good Protestant hymn, I want to take it and share it, and we should use it. This particular one, it is well with my soul. When we sing hymns, we don't do much about, well, how can I say this? Why was this hymn written? What's important about it? What went through the author's mind when he or she decided they were going to write a prayer and then ultimately put it to music? And here's what happened. In 1871 through 1873, a fellow by the name of Horatio Spafford, who was a lawyer, okay, in Chicago in the 1870s, he wrote the hymn after several extremely difficult things happened in his life. The first one was the Great Chicago Fire. He was a real estate lawyer. He ended up being very busy, but no one had any money to pay him because all the buildings had burned down. You know, that was the first problem. The second was his 4-year-old son died, and in 1873 he was sending his 4 daughters and wives to France, and he was going to follow as soon as he got through with some zoning problems. And while the ship was crossing the Atlantic, it sank, and all 4 of his daughters were killed. Okay, his wife made it to Paris and sent back a very famous telegram, "Arrived alone." And so he got on the next ship to Paris, and as he was passing the exact spot where the ship that his daughters were on had sunk, he felt this tremendous connection with God. And so he wrote this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hymn. The tune was added in 1876 by a friend of his, Philip Bliss, and he named it the Ville du Havre, which is the name of the ship that sunk. It's a remarkable work. It's a great tribute to the author because it teaches us that no matter how great our loss is and how bad our suffering is, at the moment of the greatest sorrow, we can and we should still seek refuge and support from God. And this is worth your attention. It's one of the best Protestant hymns I've ever come across, and I'm going to pass it out. I took out the verses that were not particularly Jewish. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
That's great. Thanks, Rich.
Okay. I'll give you a chance to read it. And I'll just sing a little bit of it, and then we'll try to do it together. When peace like a river upholds me each day, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, you have taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. I'll try to go down a little bit. Let's try it. When peace like a river upholds me each day, all together. Sorrows like sea billows roll. Whatever my lot, you have taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Next verse. O God, speed the day that is filled with your light, when clouds are rolled back as a scroll. The trumpet shall sound, and the Lord shall appear. Even so it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. Cindy, our pianist, knows this song very, very well. She plays the piano at the Community Church of Atascadero, and this is a favorite of that congregation, and she promised me that she would play it, except she couldn't make it tonight. So now that you know the song, the next time that I do a service when Cindy's here, we'll sing it properly. Okay. The relationship of these two hymns is pretty interesting. They don't seem related on the surface, perhaps, but if we listen to the words carefully, both hymns express unconditional faith in God. They do it differently, but they say the same thing. That faith means acceptance of the good and of the bad. It's when things are at their very, very, very worst that it's faith in God that will carry us through. Some say that it's optimism born of faith. I don't have a cliche to put on it. I just know that when you can say that you've been through agony and you've suffered and you still trust in God, you still believe in God, okay, then you're going to find peace. I'm going to conclude this by reminding you and me that it was the prophet Micah who taught us what God wanted from us, and that was just to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with God. Thank you, and let us say amen. Okay, we'll continue on page 253. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless these members of our community: Michael Aroner, Linda Baker, Catherine Adele Celentano, Robin Cohn, Martin Glenn, Diana Heller, Allison Herson, Rob Hirsch, Panina Collicant, Barbara Kurtzman, Kit Levine, Sharon Maslow, Rick Moss, Dave Podolsky, Anastasia Rololimos, Margaret Schmidt, Elliot Schwartz, Cheryl Shellup, John Sitters, Melanie Spellman, Aaron Steck. And now I would ask you to say names of people that you want this congregation to pray for. Okay.
David Feinfeld.
Okay. Send them all comfort and relief speedily in our days, and grant them a complete healing of body, mind, and spirit. Blessed are you, source of life, who helps us to bring light where there is darkness and healing where there is brokenness. Mishibeirach avotenu makur habracha lemotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishibeirach imotenu mechur habracha lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Would this be a good time to do the announcements, do you think? Okay. We have some birthdays. Evelyn Gross, who is Naomi Blakely's mother, and I know Evelyn, she must be pushing 100, and it's her birthday today. And Monique Becker. Morgan Fiorentini and Philip Ransdale have a birthday on Tuesday the 20th, David Robles on Thursday the 23rd, and we have an anniversary, Bob and Pat Schechter. Their anniversary is today. Okay. We'll continue on page 282 with the Aleinu. And please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula leotzeh bereshit, shehu noteshem. V'lo samanu kamishvachot hadama, shelo sam chechinu kahem, v'gohoraleinu kekol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Continue on 284. Shahu noteh shamayim v'yosef haaretz, umoshav yikarov hashamayim mimah, ushkinatu zo, begohei meheromim, hu Eloheinu enod, emet malkeinu efesulato, kakatu batorato, yadata hayom, v'hashivot no. Adonai Elohim, v'shamayim mima'al, v'al ha'oretz, mitachad ein od. V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol ha'oretz, v'yom ha'hu, ki yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. You may be seated, please. And we'll continue our service on page 293. I am thinking this is Krista's cousin, yes? This Shabbat we remember Krista's cousin Barthola, who was laid to rest this week. We also remember Kermit Russell, father of Fred Russell, Doris Shearer, grandmother of Michelle Shearer Robles and Dawn Shearer Daner, Jean Hart of blessed memory, Everett Blakely, father of David Blakely, and Sam Simon, father of Sandy Kawano. And we especially remember Carl Spielman, Larry's father, who passed away very recently. And we take into our hearts all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. And with that, please stand and join me in the mourner's Kaddish. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Krista, would you come forward and light the Yisker candle, please? Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Rich, I want to add another name too, Micah Bicel.
Say it loudly.
Micah Bicel,
Okay. And who is he, Fred?
Elaine and Rami Cheney's son-in-law, who passed away this month.
Yeah.
Surgery.
Yeah.
One more try.
Yeah. You can light it off of this.
Oh.
Yeah. Was he killed in action? Yeah.
And Janet.
Sorry. Thank you. Yisgadal v'yisgadash shemei rabba, v'alma divrach yirusei, v'amalech malchusei, v'chayechon v'yamechon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'yamaru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mavorach, li'olam li'olmei almaya, Yisbarach v'yishtabach v'yispawar v'yisraman v'yisnasei, v'yisadar v'yisalei v'yisalal, shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'lo mincha berchasa v'shirasa, tushbachasa v'ne'amasa, damiran v'yalma v'yamaru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'yalkal Yisrael, v'yamaru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yalkal Yisrael, v'yamaru, amen. Please be seated. Now it's time to do Adon Olam, page 321. Can anyone remember the tune? I can't remember. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, V'teren Kol Yetzir Nivrach, Li'esh Naso Behevz HaKol, Azai Melech, Shamo Nikra, V'yacharei Kiklot HaKol, Levado Yimloch Nora, V'hu Haya, V'hu Haveh, V'hu Yiyeh, V'tifara, V'hu Echad, V'ein Sheni, L'hamshi lo l'habira, V'li Reshit, V'li Tachlit, V'lo V'ham Yisra, V'lu Eli, V'haigo Ali, V'zur Kevli B'yetzara, V'hu Nisi Umanos Li, Manat Kosi, Bayom Ekra, V'yahado Kiruhi, V'yedi Shan V'yaira, V'im Ruchi Gaviyati, Adonai Li, V'lo Ira, Adon Olam, Asher Malach, V'teren Kol Yetzir Nivrach, Li'esh Nasan Behevz HaKol, Azai Melech, Shamo Nikra. And now it's time for the threefold blessing of the Torah as Moses gave it. You'll find it on page 241, and your response is Ken Yehi Ratzon. 241. Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Ye'er Adonai panav elecha v'yehunecha. Yisah Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. And let us say Amen. Good Shabbos.